All right, crew, welcome to the weekly. We're getting in the habit of weekly. Sometimes it's bi-weekly, depending on my schedule, but we're getting more people that can come on here and share tips. So I think we will, I can pull yours from the group. I just saw your message in the chat there. We're getting the habit of every single week. I want to bring on new people. We have a guest speaker coming on next week, which I'll share more information inside of our Facebook group for that. Again, I get a lot of comments on YouTube of people asking, how do we get on the live call? You have to be in the Facebook group. I don't use YouTube a lot right now. So I'm not in there checking my comments every day and replying back like I probably should. It's just not on my priority list right now. So if you want to, go below, join the Rockstar Facebook group, and you'll see me every single Tuesday morning. Typically, I'll post what we're doing in there. So I'll give you the link, give you all that kind of stuff ahead of time. Go through and mute a few people. There we go. So I wanted to just cover a couple different things real quick. Number one is going to be a housekeeping thing. I do not like rules. Especially being a full-time entrepreneur, we don't abide by rules too well, but I do have to implement rules into the Rockstar FBA group because it will turn into a flipping madhouse of spam and links and drama and negativity like some of the other groups are. And I just can't have that in my house. This is my e-commerce family. This is my positive mindset, motivation, entrepreneur world. I have to have positivity at all times. Do we have crappy days? Of course. But my first and biggest thing I want to touch base on is the housekeeping with the Facebook group. We are creeping up on 2,000 people, which is freaking nuts. Every week we do a call. I give you guys a number, and it blows my mind every time because I remember starting this group with 4-ish people. We had 4 people, and I remember telling Cameron at one point, it'd be really cool if we can hit 1,000 people this year. And we're almost at 2,000, and it's not even the end of Q1. So just do the math. We're going to be at a lot of people at the end of the year. It's going to be nuts. My goal is 10,000 people at the end of the year inside of our group, which will be awesome. So with that, I have 2 kick-ass admins that help me out managing all this craziness because I do run 3 businesses. I have a 15-month-old. I do maintain a personal life. You got to have fun, right? You can't just work all the time. You got to have fun. So I maintain balance in my life, which means I'm not in the group every single day. I try to get in there and post at least once a day, but I'm not in there scanning every single comment, every single notification. It's just not my priority right now. My priorities are making money, so I have to do those activities right now. But I have 2 awesome admins that help me out with this. So if you guys have not already, just reach out to them, post inside the group, tag them, just give them a big thank you because I could not do this group without them. It's Cameron and Tina, two of my favorite people in the world right now because they help me out so much with this. Now, also with that, thank everybody that does bring an aspect of tips and motivation, positivity. People bring expertise and experience in there. That is amazing. That's what we need. This group is geared towards new people. So if we can get some of these veterans to come in here, share some of their tips and their advice, that's amazing. Anything to help out the new person. So with that, the flip side, I missed the post. I didn't see anything that happened, but I'm on the West Coast, which is a good and a bad thing. So by the time I wake up, the East Coast people have been awake for several hours. And so sometimes I miss the drama posts. So I missed a big one, I guess, where there's people just treating each other like crap. And that's not going to happen in my house. If I would have saw it, I would have blocked every single person that was throwing crap at each other. I would have blocked them without hesitation. But a few of them are still in the group. I don't know who they are, but they got away this time. Do not bring any sort of negativity. Do not bring name calling. Do not bring bashing. Do not bring putting each other down. That is not this group. That's not my vision for it. A lot of us are in here and love this group. The way that it is because we are different. We are motivated. We are positive. We help lift each other up and support each other. That's what life is about. That's what this group is about. So with that, number 2 is going to be, number 1's negativity. Number 2 is going to be, if you are in here trying to solicit your services or your products for reviews, I don't mind the product reviews because I want to help support each other, but this cannot turn into a simple or simply a review group because every single day you're going to see all these different posts. They're all the same. Here's my product. I need reviews. Here's all the links. I don't want to see that every single day. message myself or one of my admins and say, hey, I have a product. I would like for people to review it. Can I do a post? Do not make it this big, lengthy post. Keep it short. Keep it simple. Do not post it every day. Post it once a week. But again, seek approval first. I want to keep this a fairly link and spam-free group. So if you do have any types of links, make sure they're helpful and resourceful, right? So if you see, hey guys, there's a Brother laser printer on sale this week. Yeah, share it. That's a free resource for the group. That's awesome. So that stuff, go for it, but just don't flood the group with the links and the spam, all that kind of stuff. I've had to remove and block a lot of people. Our block list is at well over 100 right now, just based on spam. So it's something our team and I work very hard to create the space you guys have. So it's just a space of positivity, lifting each other up, helping each other, like life should be. I'm just kind of going through the chat here. James said, maybe you can create a subgroup for that type of thing. There's too much clutter in the main group. Exactly. Yeah. I have a lot of different ideas I'm going to be implementing throughout the year. One of them is I'm going to be coming out with my own coaching program because a lot of you message me one-on-one. I wish I can give each of you the time that you deserve and you want, but there's 2,000 of you. I can't keep up. I'm still building my own business, right? I would love to help each of you one-on-one. So number one thing I'm coming out with, I don't know when, I don't have a time frame, but I want to create some type of coaching service where you guys will have my direct cell phone number. I'll be on the phone with you every week. If you send me a picture and say, hey, Chaz, is this a good buy? I will reply like that. That's the type of service I want to offer for you guys. But that's coming down the road. Another thing, like James just said in the chat, is creating subgroups. I want to create a VIP group, which will be kind of based around that coaching services group. And I want to create a review group is going to be another thing I'm going to be rolling out. So I've got lots of ideas I want to roll out for you guys. Now that we're large enough, I feel like we can create subcategory groups. So if you guys have any input that you guys want to throw out on there, just comment below on this video, wherever it's at, YouTube or Facebook, and just say, hey, it would be really cool if we could do this. And I take all of those ideas and write them down, and I kind of pick and choose which ones I can make happen for you guys. So that's my housekeeping rule. I don't like doing the housekeeping part. It's not my style, but I have to do it. It's just part of organizing a huge group of people. You have to have ground rules or it would just become crazy. So housekeeping is done. Just keep it drama-free, keep it spam-free. That's it. That very simple rules. Respect each other. How hard is that? Number two, I'm super excited about this. So I want to create a file. So I'm going to give you guys some names. You don't have to worry about writing them down or remembering them. I'm going to create a file. And I've had this idea for a while that I want to have, how many times have you seen in the group like, hey guys, who's a really good wholesaler? Who's a really good person to help me get ungated? Who's a really good person to help me with reimbursements or refunds and all that kind of stuff? I wanted to create a file that would give you access to names of people to reach out to. Would that be cool? You guys okay with that? So I'm going to give you a quick list. These are just the first 4 that I have. Again, you don't have to write these down. I'm going to make a file in the group. So number 1 is Caesar. You guys will get to hear this name a lot. So I got in touch with Caesar. I don't necessarily remember exactly how we got in touch, somehow just through Facebook. And he's a wholesale guy. I'm not talking about one of those guys that, here's the hard part with wholesale. You have the manufacturers, right? Those are the top of the line guys. Those are the guys who make the products. And then you have all these people in between. And then sometimes you get this bottom person who's wholesale, and they're still charging you way too much for your products. So you're not making really any profit with Amazon. Now, eBay and all that kind of stuff is a different story. I'm focusing on Amazon FBA is what I'm focusing on right now. Now, when I got in touch with Caesar, he told me about his service, and he's probably watching this right now, but I remember I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I didn't do anything with it. Then I decided, okay, you know what? I need to step up my game. I need to start outsourcing some of my prep stuff because I'm spending way too much time out here in my garage when I could be spending it with my family and creating that life balance I talked about. Now, with the wholesale thing, this guy is a true wholesaler. I'll have to have him up here as a guest speaker one night. He can share a little bit about himself. It's a family-run business out of California, I believe, is where he's at. So he is a true wholesaler, meaning he gets truckloads of merchandise directly from the big box stores. There's no middle guys. So his cost you can imagine is low, which means he can bring us cost of goods at a lower price. So we get more profit, right? Now, with that, I want to caution is the word I'm thinking of. I want to caution you guys. Don't message him unless you are a serious person who is ready to put money down. For some reason, with the whole e-commerce field, the business, there's a lot of people who love the chase, is what I call it. They love to talk about the money and talk to wholesalers like, yeah, that sounds really cool. I want to do this someday. There's very few people who actually are ready to back up their actions with money. That's what this business takes. You have to invest money to create that income back, right? And to make it double and triple and go from there. So if you guys are going to message this guy Caesar, which again, I'm going to put all of his info in the file. If you're going to message him, don't waste his time. He is a busy man. He's got a family. He's creating his balance with it. If you are going to message him, just like if you're going to message me, don't waste my time, right? Don't waste either of our time. Message us with the intent to take action. So with Caesar, you give him a budget, and I did an hour-long video chat with him a couple nights ago, and he had told me I can work with any budget. I can work with $50. He will put together a quick manifest for you. You can check it out based on however you want to check out your manifest, and then get back to him. He can do a prep and ship free. That's included with the cost. So for example, I just gave him $500, or no, 400. So he put together a manifest for me. I checked it out. It was great. I said, okay, let's do it. He sent me an invoice. And then from there, hold on, I'm going to mute some people real quick.
Yeah, mute me.
Can't figure out which one. Okay, there we go. I think I got him. It's quiet. Cool. So anyways, I messaged him. I said, hey, I need a manifest. He gave me a manifest. It checked out my books for the 100% ROI that I like to go for. And he basically packed everything up. He sent it out. Here's the cool part was I was at dinner with my family, and I checked my phone, and I see emails coming in of shipment created, shipment created, shipment created. That was Caesar doing his working that miracle work. So he was sending stuff in to my Amazon account as I was actually at dinner, not having to worry about it. So I wanted to officially announce him as our Rockstar wholesaler. So again, his info is going to be in there. Message him if you are serious about investing money into some product. You can have him ship it to you, and you can handle it if you are super in control. Or you can have him do what he wants to do, and he wants to help us out by doing that at no extra charge. So that's Caesar. Now, you guys have probably seen me post on this before. There's already a file in the group, and I'm just going to mention it again. Our official, I call it OA list person. So our official online arbitrage list, and what I mean by list is basically a group of virtual assistants that you pay. You can pay. I'm not going to give you numbers off the top of my head. I don't remember. You can pay a monthly fee, or you can pay a one-time fee for these different lists that these virtual assistants or VAs put together. And it's online arbitrage, their best finds. So they'll say, here's how much you can buy it from at this website. Here's how much you can flip it for on Amazon. The sourcing work is done for you. I've been using that for, I don't even know now. I want to say 2 months, about a month and a half, 2 months. And I have ordered probably about 20 SKUs. So 20 different products. I've ordered multiple quantities of each one. And I have had only 4, maybe 5 actual products that by the time they get here, the price tanked. And that was the big worry with some of these lists, right? That was something I went in with the caution. So I've been really happy with it. And I don't say that because I want you guys to go flood it and buy all this kind of stuff. I say it because, again, since the very first video I put up back in December on my bulk pallet, what was the one thing I told you guys? I'm here to share my journey and be transparent with you all. It's the same thing here. So with the lists, I'm always transparent, and I will always do this. I do get an affiliate commission based on whoever buys these lists. Again, the lists are not for everybody. I am not going to sit here and say, go buy the list because I want a commission. Yeah, I want to get paid for my referrals. I'm not paid by Caesar. I'm not paid by anyone else to recommend them. I'm not paid by bulk, which a lot of people think. I wish I was, but I'm not. I'm not paid by 888 lots. I'm not paid by anybody. I do get paid by the OA list because they are something I'm very passionate about, something that this particular person, Brianna, is her name. You'll see her name in there, and I'll be sure to tag her. But she was the one that helped me out. She's there. If you join the VIP group, she is there pretty much to help you out the best that she can. She's been a great help with shoes and clothing for me, which is a new category I'm working with. So that's our OA list person is going to be Brianna. And then we have the new one, which you guys have probably heard of, Amazon Suite before. This is a company that can help you with reimbursement in that genre. There's a few other things with it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, anytime that Amazon loses inventory or damages it inside their warehouse, there's a list you can actually find in your office or your Seller Central, and it will say that Amazon had damaged this, this, and this. You can submit to get reimbursed for those. That's something I didn't know my first month. So after a couple months of doing this, I figured that out, and then I went in there and it was almost $200 back because it was all stuff they lost or they didn't reimburse me for. So if you need help with that stuff, you can check out Jacob. Again, this is all going to be inside that file. Don't worry about writing anything down right now. But he is going to be our official Rockstar reimbursement specialist, if you want to call him that. Him and his company running that. And then last but not least is my gal, Rebecca, who you guys have probably seen that helped me get ungated with both health and beauty, which I am so excited about. There's so much less competition in health and beauty. It's amazing. But it's a pain in the butt to get into. You have to have, it used to be, you can go into health and beauty applications and grocery with just store receipts. Obviously, Amazon is hammering down on their rules. So you have, yeah, exactly. James just said that's why there's less competition because it is hard to get into. Not many people want to go through the work to do it. This is why I paid somebody to do it, because I don't want to go through the hassle. I don't have time for that right now. So I paid Rebecca. You can check out, again, I'm going to post her website. All these guys, I'm going to post the links to them inside the file I'm going to make. But I paid Rebecca the fees to get in health and beauty. I'm going to work on grocery next. The thing is, don't expect Rebecca to apply for you. She's going to provide you the invoices that you need, and she's going to help you make corrections every time they decline you. It took me 3 tries to get into health, and it took me 2 tries to get into beauty. We found out, do not submit any application on a Friday. They declined me like that. Here's the funny thing was, I got declined on Friday for beauty, and she said, just send it in tomorrow. The exact same thing. So I sent it in Saturday morning, and I was approved within like 3 hours. It's kind of funny how that works. So it just depends on which rep you get and how strict and how long of a day they've had. But Rebecca is going to be our official Rockstar ungating person, specialist is what we'll call them. So again, I'm going to create a file, and my goal is to bring you a Rockstar specialist of different sorts throughout this whole thing. So hopefully we can find like a pallet liquidator specialist and bring in these different people that can be in here and help you guys. So hopefully that's something you guys enjoy. It's something I've wanted to bring to you. Again, I'm all about the free value right now. Before I start coaching and having paid services, I'm here on this earth to help people. And again, from day one, I have told you guys, I'm going to be transparent. I don't have a secret source I'm working with. I just gave you Caesar's name, who I think in any other group, you guys can agree with me on this one probably. In any other group, would anyone give away their wholesale name? No. Geez, no. I want to do that for you guys because I saw when Caesar and I did our video chat, Caesar has passion to help people the same way that I do. Of course, I'm going to bring him in, give him some business. Again, I get no referrals from him as far as commissions or anything like that. So I just want to bring that to you guys as kind of like a free gift to say thank you for being a part of this group. And just keep kicking ass, guys. Keep it positive, keep it motivating, all that kind of stuff. So if you guys have any ideas on extra like specialists, if you want to call them that you would want me to look for and bring in here, just let me know, and I will definitely get a hold of whoever I can and bring them in here for you. Questions so far? Feel free to unmute yourself. This isn't just a one-man show up here. We're all family. So if you guys have questions, unmute yourself. Let me know. I'm going to hit base on. I haven't read a whole lot. My mouse is not working. Let me try this again. Yep, my mouse battery died. Let me check the chat because I keep seeing this thing scrolling down. Holy cow, you guys are going to work on the chat over here. If you guys are on the live call, feel free to drop comments in the chat, ask questions. I'll hit Q&A after I'm done with all this stuff.
I have a computer mouse I can sell you. I can send you a link.
I might be in the market for one. This thing's like old. Oh, that's the other thing. Thanks for reminding me. If you guys, okay, most of us are sellers. Like all of us are sellers if we're in here, but most of us are also personal Prime users, right? We all have our personal Prime account. Most of us do. If you guys are ever finding yourself wanting to go onto Amazon Prime and order personal products for yourself, I don't care what it is, household stuff, whatever, why not post in the group first and say, hey guys, does anyone here sell blank? Why don't we support each other in our businesses, right? So I'm probably going to be in the market for a new USB optical mouse. So if anyone sells these, yeah, James just gave me a heads up. I would be more than happy to support anyone here, right? I'm not going to ask you for discounts and all that kind of stuff. I'll pay full price, whatever you want for it. But how cool would that be if we all support each other? So feel free to post in the group and say, hey guys, I'm in the market to purchase blank. Does anyone have one? And then you guys can give you Amazon link and go from there. So where is that? Going to the chat. Caesar is the real deal. I've used him many times. Yes, he is. Scott says, try Oaks Ray 3-day free trial, but then after that, it's $99 a month. Just did my reimbursements for last month. Got $345 back. That is awesome, Scott. Where do you find reimbursements? Off the top of my head, you're going to need to go to you know what? Why don't I just look it up right now for you? I have a lot of people that message me throughout the week, guys. And you guys all know I run a packed schedule for myself. I like to stay busy. So anytime you want to talk with me one-on-one, now's the time to do it. I'm here for you guys. So if you go into Amazon Seller Central, you are going to go to Reports and Fulfillment. And then on the left side, underneath the main inventory category, click on Show More. And then you're going to go to Inventory Adjustments. And then you can go from, ooh, I actually just found they damaged one of my large units. I haven't looked at this in a couple days. You guys get to see live what's going on. Anyways, you can run your report there, see what they've damaged, all that kind of stuff. And then you could submit a claim to get it reimbursed. If you have a lot of these that go on, I don't have too many right now, so I don't have the need to pay anybody to do it for me. But if you get large enough and you have a lot of this stuff going on, again, reach out to our official specialists that are going to be in the file there, and they can help you out with that. Scott said, I did it with receipts back in October, grocery, health and personal care, and beauty. Nice. Yeah, I think it must have been after Q4. They kind of knuckled down on that stuff just really in the last couple months. It used to be just as easy as go get your receipts and get ungated, but I guess they're trying to keep an eye on how saturated that market is. Let's see. They lost one of my products at the beginning of the month. They reimbursed me for it. Today I get an email saying they found it and they took back the money. And now I have to try to sell it. Yes, that will happen. If you submit for reimbursements and you get that, they'll tag it onto your next check. So let's say you get $100 worth of reimbursements and they find, I don't know how they do this, but I had a huge shipment of puzzles I was selling, very specific type of puzzle. And my buy cost was $1. And I was selling them for $8.99. So I was like tripling, sometimes quadrupling my money on it. They lost a shipment of 200 units. I got a pretty sweet paycheck, but then they found the box. I lost that paycheck extra, the reimbursement, and then it goes back into your inventory to sell. So you always have to remember that the reimbursement is not necessarily final. If they find your inventory, they will take their money back and they'll put your inventory up for sale. It's just fair game. Oh, of course, Scott already beat me to it. I was scrolling down. Thanks for keeping up on that. Does Caesar have a web page? He does not have a web page. Caesar stays busy enough that he doesn't need to be working with a web page. I'll sell you a new mouse. I sell them on eBay. Nice. If I get like 10 messages about buying a mouse after this, it's going to be nuts. Would I talk about private label on this stream? No, I will not, because I have not done private label. So number one thing that I've told you guys from the beginning is I'm always transparent. Number two rule that I have for myself is I will never talk about stuff I've not done myself. I cannot talk about creating a listing or how to better fix a listing because I've never done it. I've not done PL yet. What I can tell you is my wife and I are working on a PL product, our first one. We are in the design stage. We're actually designing something from scratch, which is a little bit different than what most people do. A lot of private label people will find a product that's selling really well and then source it from China, put their own label on it. I think it's called a white label. If I heard a podcast or something like that, it's called a white label if you do it that way. So I am, or not just myself, it's mostly my wife's idea for our first product. We have 3 we're working on. So it's pretty exciting that we have that. So the only thing I can tell you is do your research ahead of time because that's the stuff we've had to do. We've had to look up. I use Jungle Scout. I have the Pro one. It was $147 if I remember right. And I love it because it gives you go to Amazon and type in whatever your product is. I see a lot of people use garlic press as an example. So if you type in garlic press, it gives you a whole list of all the different ones. And then Jungle Scout will give you a whole list on all the stats, ranks, how many sellers, they will break down and tell you how much that seller has made for the month based on that product. So do your research ahead of time. Try to stay out of the competition with the market. A lot of things will get heavily just doused in these sellers. You don't want to be another person to jump in there. You have to go, you're creating competition for yourself. So as far as actual PL goes, I can't really share too many tips on that. We have some PL guys inside of our group, which I would love to be able to bring some of them on as guest speakers. So we'll have to work on that. Silicone spatulas and diet pills. Yep. I love it. It seems like everyone goes for that silicone stuff because it's dirt cheap to get. Who can you pay to make the claims? I have 20. Matt, again, that's going to be in the file. After we're all done with this chat, I'll post up in the file and make it our official group. Don't you have to have all inventory gone by a certain date for miracles? Not sure I quite understand what that question is. Text on the package, here it is. I think people are just chatting in the chat now. We'll move on. So again, if you guys have actual questions you want to ask, drop them in the chat and I'll touch base on Q&A in a few. So number 1, again, housekeeping stuff, drama-free, spam-free, blah, blah, blah. Number 2 that I touched base on was bringing our official Rockstars in here, creating our team. And then number 3 is going to be setting expectations with arbitrage and pallets. A lot of people, especially now that we have a large group, a lot of people jump in here and I see posts of people that are like, oh yeah, I just joined today and I bought my first pallet. You need to set expectations for yourself. And this is not talking as an Amazon FBA seller or an e-commerce person. This is talking about any type of business. You cannot jump into something without setting expectations for yourself. You're setting yourself up for failure if you jump in and just expect everything to click your first time and not fail. I think so many people fail to actually start Amazon FBA or e-commerce in general, any business in general. So many people fail to start their own business because they want to plan the perfect route with no failure before they take action. And that is just not how it happens. Business is built on the foundation of failures. Success of any kind is built on the foundation of failures. I had somebody, I don't remember who it was, I had somebody message me the other day and ask me what courses and classes I've taken to learn what I've learned. Google University and YouTube Masters. That's what I've done. I've done a lot of self-research, but even more so, I've done a lot of trial and error. And the person who messaged me, I told them that I've Googled and YouTubed everything I knew. And he said, oh, so you've learned through trial and error. Yeah, that's how anyone should learn business in general. That's how anyone should learn anything. I mean, I'm in the health and fitness industry as well. I tell my clients the same way. I can tell you all day long the perfect plan to achieve a six-pack abs. I can tell you the perfect plan to get into that like yoga posture you want to get into. It comes through trial and error. Each of us, we have 2,000 people in here. We're following 2,000 different routes, 2,000 different journeys. You need to use trial and error to find out what works for you. And that comes through setting expectations. If you set an expectation for yourself that you're going to hit some struggles, you're going to fail at times, it's okay. If you set that expectation ahead of time, when it actually happens, you're going to move forward, right? If you set expectations, you're going to move forward when those things happen. If you come into this blindly and you think you're going to make a ton of money and you can just walk into a store and scan stuff and come out with a ton of product and it's all going to flip for 100% ROI and you're going to get this fat check and you're going to double it every time, that's the wrong expectation. You have to set the right expectations for yourself. So when it comes to, I've learned this recently, I got ungated with health and beauty, which means I'm doing a lot more RA, which is going into the stores and actually purchasing right out of Walmarts and Targets and all these different big box stores, which I wasn't doing a whole lot of before. I was doing a lot of pallets before. So with pallets, I set expectations for myself. I knew that with every single pallet, there was going to be some junk, there was going to be a few gems, and there was going to be a lot of crap in between. That's why I never got pissed off when I got a bad pallet, because it's part of the risk. I had that expectation for myself. I've seen people in the group and in other groups that they post about this horrible pallet experience that they had and they get all pissed off. You didn't have the right expectation for yourself. So when I was ordering some of these pallets, I had the expectation that I was going to have some struggles with some of it, especially the last load that I did, which was 11 pallets of customer returns. My wife and I had the complete wrong expectation because we had never ordered customer returns before. We had ordered mostly newer items, right? So most of the stuff was in great shape, a few junk, but not bad. So when we jumped in, we ordered 11 pallets for $6,000 and had them shipped here. We got our asses handed to us. We went from a 4-day turnaround expectation, get those here, flip them, send them into Amazon, eBay. It turned into 3.5 weeks. And I still have a very small pile of junk from that from that load in my garage that we didn't set the right expectation. So we had a couple nights where we were just pissed off. We called that a failure. We broke even with it, but we did not make a dime extra on top of that. And that was our own bad. We didn't do our research the way that we should have on customer returns because you have to test every freaking unit. That's what killed us. I'm over the customer return pallets right now, not touching another one for the moment. That was an expectation that we did not set for ourselves, and we got bit in the butt for it. So when you do pallets, that's the expectation you have to set for yourself is you're going to get some crap. You're going to get some good stuff, a few gems. You might get a few pristine condition factory sealed things, but it's not always going to be that way. Even if you order a new pallet, a lot of people order a new pallet and they think that they're going to get this perfect, pristine condition factory sealed box. Never going to happen. Very rarely will you ever see that happen. So that's with pallets. Now that I'm transitioning into OA and RA a little bit more. Now with the pallets, I was doing a lot of thrifting. I was going to thrift stores and my local Goodwill, which is like my local honey bucket. I get some really good stuff there. I got a few really, really good items that I would literally see. I think my best one was a 3,000% increase. It was ridiculous. So I got in the habit and the mindset of getting that type of percentage back, right? I wanted to get 100%, 200%, 300% every single time. And so when I switched over to OA and RA and all of a sudden that 100% flip around started turning into like 30, 40, 50, 60%, it took me a little bit to adjust, right? I'd scanned a lot of things. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can make a few bucks, but that's not double my money. So I would put it back and, walk around the store. Eventually I come back to it and I would understand that if you make a smaller margin, you have to do more volume. That's just how it works. So I ordered larger volume, send the products in, boom. They sell, I get my check back. Okay, I came out with more than I had when I started. So that my new expectation is when you're doing online and retail arbitrage, you have to be okay with making a little bit smaller margin. Sometimes you're going to hit some good stuff and you're going to double your money. I was just scrolling through the chat. Oh, misread one of those. So that's my expectation with RA and OA. That's just based on my experience. Again, I'm only talking based on what I've done. People have other experiences. That's great. As far as what I've done, you have to expect that you're not going to make 100% every single time. You have to be okay with making a few less, but you have to be willing to spend money to do it is the biggest thing that I learned. I think one of the hardest things as a newbie, as I reflect back, I'm almost 6 months into this. I've only been doing this 5.5 months. And I feel like I've had decent success for where I started, but I look back at my first month and I remember the thing that I got so pissed about was I spent all this money going out, getting product, shipment. You feel like you're being so productive, right? You're rocking your business. But then when you check your Seller Central, your app, and especially when shipments go out, you see your check go down to almost nothing. And you've been doing it for a month. I remember just kind of sitting back one night going, should I keep going with this? Like this kind of sucks right now. I feel like I've spent all this money, put in all this time, all this work, all the late nights in this freaking garage, packing up boxes. So much time away from my family and everything else I want to do for a measly $40-something at the end of the month. But I did not quit. I stuck with it because I had a goal and I was ready to attack it. So moving forward into month 2, all of a sudden I kept repeating the process. Go source, bring back product, ship them in, repeat. Even though there were days and weeks where it sucked because I did not like seeing the shipment fee come out because it dinged me hard on some of them because I was sending in some heavy stuff in the beginning. So it dinged me hard in that, but I stuck with it. And then all of a sudden those checks went from being these itty bitty little things to boom. How about $1,000? Boom. How about $2,000? Those payouts started to increase. And it was because I did not quit. My hustle was there, even though it sucked. And I think as a newbie, that's one of the hardest things to grasp. And that's the hardest expectation for yourself is to wrap your head around this whole like entrepreneur world you always hear about. Working your own business is not easy, guys. I've been on both worlds of, I've been a full-time entrepreneur working for myself for the last 3 years. And I've also been full-time working for other companies for the last 10 years in jobs I hated. I've been on both sides. And I can tell you, going to a 9-to-5 job is easy. You show up, you clock in, you're held accountable all day. You know that if you don't work or you don't clock in, you'll get fired. You have to light a fire under your butt to show up. And then you clock out at 5 and you're done. Now you enter the world of entrepreneurship, your own business. Congratulations. You signed up as a Amazon seller, FBA seller, merchant filled seller, eBay seller, e-commerce. Congratulations. Now the work begins. The expectation you have to set for yourself is you have to show up every single day and you have to put in the work. There's going to be days and weeks that it sucks and you're going to doubt everything. You're going to question if this is even worth it. There are going to be so many of those days. I had one of those days yesterday. Day before. The day before yesterday, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, I've spent how many thousands of dollars in this business? Why am I not doing better than where I'm at right now? I caught myself getting stuck up in that mentality. And of course, when your brain starts to roll in that direction, it's like a domino effect, isn't it? The negativity creeps in and the doubt and the failure and the fear comes back. And like, freaking hey, my wife just quit her job 2 months ago to do this with me. Are we going to last another month? This is the kind of stuff that was going through my head. And then it's snap back in it. You are an entrepreneur. You show up every flipping day and you put in the work. You don't always have the answers. You don't always know exactly what you're doing, but what you do know is you have a goal and you're going to get there. And this is where faith comes in, guys. You have to have faith and belief in yourself that you're going to make it happen one way or another. If I've learned anything in my years of running businesses, it's all in the mindset. You can take two different people with the exact same situations in their businesses, and you're going to have one of those people that excels. No other explanation except for the mindset. So that's my little take on setting expectations for yourself. That's the type of mentality that I have right now, is even on the days that you have fear and you fail, you have to get back up and keep showing up. One thing I talk about to my health and fitness clients, because I deal with, I love to work with people who, I hate the word obese, but I work with a lot of people who are obese, who have a lot of weight to lose, because they have some of the best transformations I've ever been able to witness. And not because of the physical weight loss that happens, but because of right here. This is where the change happens. For me to look at someone's before and after photo, I'm not looking at anything else. I'm looking at their face. Because you see the difference in their confidence. You can see in their face that change. So when I'm talking to these people about their health and their fitness, and I promise this relates over to our business world, when I'm talking to them about their health and their fitness, I tell them there's going to be days you slip. You're gonna fail. And in that field, you're gonna pig out on a pizza. You're gonna have some ice cream. You're gonna skip some workouts. That happens. Life knocks all of us down. That's not always a choice. Life is gonna knock you down. But here's the kicker. You choosing to stay down is a choice. That is where it's not okay. It's okay to get knocked down. It's not okay to stay down. You get knocked down 7 times, you stand up 8, right? It's not about how much or how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. For those of you Rocky fans, love that line because it's so true. Get back up and keep moving forward. That's what separates the winners from the losers in this game. The losers are going to be the ones who have no expectations, or they have the wrong expectations. They show up, they buy a few things, send a few things in, look at a crappy check and go, whoop, doesn't work, I'm done. They quit, right? We have 2,000 people inside of our group. How many, there's probably another 1,000 that have come through here and then left. They may have just quit altogether because they didn't have the right expectation for themselves. The winners, the champions, are the ones who show up when you are on empty. When you are on empty. For those of you that have been in, I haven't done a post like this in a while, but for those of you that have been in this group for a few months, you probably remember when I was working on those pallets, there were some 2 a.m. nights, and I'd take the selfie and do a big old post about how I was still working. I work all 3 businesses per day. You guys have probably seen my posts on that. You have to show up and just keep moving forward. So aside from that, I hope you guys took something out of this. I'm not up here to tell people how to run their business or do anything. I'm here, like I said, on day 1 when I ordered that bulk pallet, and that's where this video came out on YouTube, and that's where most of you came from. I'm here to share my journey, tell you what works for me, what doesn't work, and hopefully inspire a few people to take action. Because if there's anything that I want to achieve in life, it's to show and help people how to live with freedom. Freedom to me is to do whatever you want, when you want, with who you want. Time freedom, not being tied down to a job and having a boss tell you when you can pee, when you can take family vacations. That's not okay in my book. I did that for years. I'm done. Time freedom. If I can teach people how to do time freedom, that's my goal in life, because I've experienced time freedom and it's flipping amazing, guys. How many of you saw if you're on my personal page, how many of you saw the video of my wife and I dancing with our little boy out here yesterday? That right there is freedom. We couldn't do that a couple years ago because we were both at jobs. That's freedom. Going on family trips during the summer, going down to the beach, taking a day off because you freaking want to. That's time freedom. That's what Amazon can bring you if you work it, if you set expectations for yourself, if you do what we teach, if you simply put in the research, get off your ass and do the research. Don't always rely on what other people will have to say. So many people come in here and ask questions based on stuff that they can easily find out if they go to the group files. I say this in every week. If you have not been in our group files, I've laid out everything that not everything. I haven't covered PL and all that kind of stuff, but I've laid out all the basic stuff you need to know based on what I've done. Everything's up there. Go check it out. So aside from that, I think I'm done with my little expectation rant. I don't think we have any questions there. So I'm going to check on the Facebook group real quick because I know we had a few questions from earlier that I posted. Let's see here. So I'm just going to jolt through these. If you guys have any more questions before we cut this off for the night, drop them in the chat and I'll get to those in a minute. So how to choose products, which drop shipping company to use. I have not drop shipped before, so I can't give you any information on it. How to choose products, ones that make money. That's what I sell. You can have a niche and you can go for those products, which is great. That's even better. But for the most part, if I scan and buy cost is low and sell cost is high, I buy it. And the rank is good and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there's no specific way to choose a product. It's just based on, you have to look at, there's a lot of different moving parts in researching. So if you scan an item, you're not looking at, is there a profit? We're looking at, okay, is there a profit? Yes. Now, is the rank decent? Okay, good. Check. How many FBA people are on there? How many merchant people? How much competition? Check. What's the rating look like? Don't buy stuff with a crappy rating because that means it's going to have a high return rate. Sure, you can make a $100 profit, but if that's returned in a week, you don't want that on your account. So there's a lot of moving parts in this. So you have to do your research ahead of time and go with that. Moving down the list, how will pallet buying be affected with the new inventory restrictions? That's kind of a tough one. I don't think anyone really knows specifically what's going on with the inventory restrictions right now. If you haven't heard by now, there's been several posts that go around. Amazon is restricting certain ASINs or products that go into their warehouses. The biggest reason I've heard for this is obviously Amazon stores thousands and thousands and thousands of products in their warehouses. So the first thing that I heard, which all of us heard in that big article that went around, is they have so much of this crap laying around that they don't want more of it coming in. So they're going to restrict you on sending that stuff in. Then I saw something today. Yep, just like Caesar said, as long as your items are not long tail, you should be okay. Yep, James just nailed it. So the second thing that I heard, which was today also from several different people, was that Amazon is saying now it's just a glitch in their system that they're trying to work out. So do we know exactly what's going on? We don't know. And moving down the Facebook group again, how to analyze data on Keepa and Camel. Is each new point a price change from a seller? Is each new point is what it is sold as? That is what it is sold as. And what he's talking about is, if you look at Camel, or Keepa, and you're seeing this happening in the graph, that's the selling points. So you can look at the history of a product and see kind of what its selling history looks like. If I can't, it's too much to go into just right here, right now. We don't have enough time for it. It's too much to go into as far as exactly how to read that stuff. Go to YouTube. I'm a big fan of it. Just type in how to read Keepa, and there are hundreds of videos up. Go check it out. And Rachel asked about pricing strategies. Everyone has a different game. Some people love to price high. Some people love to, like for myself, I set 100% ROI on anything I buy. Not so much with the RA and OA like I talked about, but I do the 100% thing for myself because it gives me wiggle room. If I buy something that has 100% ROI at the time that I bought it, and then I send it in FBA a week later, the price tanks a little bit, I still have some wiggle room to drop down. Okay, I'll accept 60%. But if I go into a store and I buy something at 50%, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room there. I have to sell it at that price to make my 50. So that's why I do the 100% rule for myself as far as ROI goes. So if I buy something for $10, after fees and shipping, I want to make about 20. If I need to sell it for like 16 or get the profit of 16, that's okay with me. So I do it because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Scott says he hates the people that engage in the race to the bottom. Amen to that. Nobody likes the race to the bottom. I was talking to Brandon. If you guys have seen Brandon, Heston, I think is his last name. Sorry if I butchered that, man. He's local to me. He actually came into one of my garage sales, and then he wanted to learn about FBA, so I plugged him into our group, and boom, he's making his business work. I was talking to him earlier about this. The thing with racing to the bottom, it sucks, but sometimes if you have a good product you want to sell at a certain price, hold on strong, because the idiots on the bottom are going to sell out eventually, and your price is going to be boom right there when they sell out. Caesar asks, how's everyone's sales for the month? If you guys can drop comments in there. Matt asked if he could tell a story. Hold on that, brother. I've seen your comments. Let's see. How to locate a real wholesaler and not all the scams you're fighting on Google. I already gave out the name right there. Yep. Caesar just nailed it. Me. Again, I'm going to make a group file. I don't know what I'm going to title it yet, but I'm going to make a group file and all their information is going to be in there. All those guys I talked about earlier. So aside from that, I think I'm done with questions. Cool. So Matt, go ahead and unmute yourself. You said you wanted to share something real quick. Go for it. Let me see if I can manually do this. We'll give Matt a second to unmute himself on that. Scott's at 1,500 for the month with RA and OA. Nice. I don't even know what I'm at for the month. I haven't checked. Let's check. How many times? It feels weird when I here's something funny. Every time I do these calls, got another sale. Cool. Every time I do these calls, I always find myself thinking like, I should refresh my app, because once you start making sales, you get the thumb itch if you don't refresh it every 15 minutes. Let's see what we're at for the month. I'm excited because I had a crappy February because we spent a lot of money on products. So I had a lot of shipping that ate up all my profits. So we're lined up for a pretty decent March. So right now I'm at 5,250, which I am more than happy with. My goal in the beginning was like, if I can make 2,000 a month, I'd be happy. So it's kind of fun to be able to hit that 5 mark. Cheeser. Check my messages on it. So if you guys want a man who leads by example, I talked about Caesar, right? Looks like we got 2 images here. Caesar is rocking 1,200 in sales today. If you're ready for it, $29,190 for the month so far. And we still got days left. That's nuts. Chuck made his first sale. Nice work, Chuck. That's an exciting time, isn't it? When you make it that first sale and this whole thing kind of kickstarts. It's awesome. Just keep going with it, man. Sweet. Well, I didn't hear Matt unmute himself, so I think we are done here for tonight. I worked out before we started this, so I'm starving right now. I need to go eat something. But aside from that, I appreciate you guys being on here. I know it's a late night for those of you on the East Coast. Unfortunately, this is just the only time that works out best for my schedule right now. I wish I could do an earlier one. Maybe we can find like a morning session or something like that. It might be easier for some of you East Coast people. But for now, this kind of works for us. So again, next week we will have a guest speaker. Bring in Pacific Time Zone rocks. Yes, it does. I love it. We'll bring in a guest speaker, which I'll be talking about later on. But aside from that, you guys have a kick-ass night. Keep rocking it in the group. I appreciate all of you who are bringing in the motivation and just everything. It's awesome. So you guys have an awesome night. I'll see you later. Peace out.